I kept a checklist tucked under my mattress for years. Names to call, lines to say, a suitcase packed with emergency cash. I believed that list kept me alive. This episode is for the person with a folded piece of paper in their pocket, whispering reasons to stay hidden. You're not alone.
Hey, I'm Samnang. Welcome back to S&J Pride.
And I'm James. If you've ever planned your life around one secret, if you've rehearsed tiny lies until they felt like truth, this episode is for you. We'll hear a story, pull out practical steps, and give you permission to move at your pace.
Today, the checklist I hid. I'll read pieces of that list and tell you the night everything deviated from the plan, when I chose messy honesty instead of the safety of the rules. I'll be honest up front. Some of this gets heavy. If you need to pause, rewind, or skip a section, do that. Your safety comes first. Why a checklist? Because fear makes you efficient. When I was younger, every possibility of rejection looked like a threat to the life I was trying to build. So I made a manual for survival. Who to call, where to go, what to say when the question came up. It started as practicality and became a ritual of small betrayals. To myself mostly.
Let me read the spine of that list. The things I clutched like talismans. Item 1. Safe contacts. 3 people who already knew and would show up without judgment. Item 2. Rehearsed phrases. Short, neutral lines to diffuse questions. Item 3. Exit plans. A packed bag, a code word, taxi numbers memorized. Item 4. Covers. Boyfriends from college I could call. Fake plans with friends. Always an alibi ready. Item 5. Mental health anchors. Breathing exercises, a therapist's number, a charity that had been helpful. Sounds sensible, right? It did. Until it didn't. Building the list was an act of love for my future self. I wrote people who had shown me gentleness. A cousin who hugged me when I cried in private. A friend who sent care packages when work drained me. A neighbor who once listened for hours. I gave my future self permission to run to them. But the list also taught me to plan around absence. I planned around who I feared would leave me. That part I didn't admit to myself for a long time. I practiced phrases until they felt automatic. I'm really focused on work right now. It's complicated. I need time to figure things out. Each one is a tiny shield. But shields harden. After a while, I found I was using them not just to protect, but to avoid becoming seen. The list made hiding efficient. It didn't solve the loneliness that came with hiding. Now, the night, everything changed. It was ordinary in all the wrong ways. Dinner at my family's house, a tray of food, 2 loud laughter, and a phone buzzing with a message I didn't expect. I had the list in my pocket like always. I had rehearsed words on my breath. But then something small happened. A niece tripped, and in the scramble to steady her, my hand found James's and didn't let go. No plan covered the way my heart leapt and how my hand felt like the only honest thing in the room. Panic kicked in. The checklist that had felt like armor now pinched my ribs. I pictured the exit plan, the quiet ride to the hotel, the text to my cousin, the practiced apology for being tired. I could have followed the script and walked away, and no one would have been harmed, except me. That night, the list felt like a cage I had built for myself.
I remember that night from my side. I saw your hand on mine, and you were different. Small, like you were holding back an ocean. I felt panic too. What I didn't know was the list under your shirt. All I knew was I wanted to ask a question and be gentle with the answer.
When the moment came, I had a choice that the checklist didn't let me rehearse, tell the rehearsed line, or say the unscripted truth. For the first time in years, I chose messy honesty. I said, I want you to know who I am, and I'm tired of planning around it. I expected silence, a taxi call, maybe a slammed door, What happened was not the same in every family, but in that room there was a long, strange quiet, a plate nudged forward, and then my father's voice asking more questions than I thought he would ask. It wasn't easy. It wasn't pretty. It was real.
That took courage. I remember feeling frightened and proud at the same time. We've been there, where honesty feels like a cliff and you don't know if someone will catch you. You did it anyway. I'm proud of you for that, even for how messy it was.
There were consequences. Some conversations were tender and slow. Some were abrupt and painful. A family friend stopped calling for a while. I lost a few comfortable assumptions overnight. But I gained something I hadn't had in years. The ability to show up fully to my life, even when parts of it were shaky. And here's the thing. The list I hid didn't vanish. It shifted into something useful instead of controlling.
So what did I learn? 3 takeaways you can use if you're carrying your own checklist right now.
Takeaway 1. Safety first planning is not shameful. It's necessary. Keep your emergency numbers, your financial plan, and a safe place to go. If you're not safe disclosing, delay is not failure. Prepare for real scenarios. Who can you call at 2 a.m.? Where would you sleep if you needed to leave? Write those down and keep them private.
Takeaway 2. Practice emotional phrases, but don't let them become prison bars. Have a few lines ready to keep you safe in public, sure, but also rehearse a short, honest sentence you can say when you can be brave. I need to tell you something important. And then stop. Let silence do some of the work. You don't have to clean everything up in one night.
Takeaway 3. Have a support plan for after the truth. Some people will listen, some won't. Schedule a call with someone you trust before you tell others. Book a therapy appointment or a check-in with a supportive friend. Small, practical supports, a meal delivered, a ride arranged, make the emotional work possible.
If you're listening and there's a folded list in your wallet, I want you to hear this. You're doing something brave just by planning. Plans keep you safe. But don't forget to plan for gentleness toward yourself. If you tell someone and it goes badly, that is not the end of your story. We've built it back from worse. There's hope in that.
Heart to heart now. If you're holding your own checklist, if you're terrified of what will break, it's okay to move slowly. You are allowed to protect yourself. You are allowed to choose timing that feels safe. And you're allowed, when you can, to throw a part of that list away. Not because planning was wrong, but because living fully is worth the risk you can afford to take. We are not therapists. We are 2 men who lived this, and we want to be clear. If this brings up hard feelings, please reach out to a professional or a trusted support line. If you don't know where to start, contact a local LGBTQ+ community center or search for crisis lines online. You deserve help and care.
If this episode hit you, do us a favor. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next story. Leave a comment or DM us one small line from your own checklist. It can be anonymous. If you want, type just, I hear you, so we know you're there. It helps us know this community is growing and that you're not alone.
Thank you for being here. If you chose to listen through the heavy parts, take a breath. You are not alone. We see you. I'm Samnang.
I hear you. You're not alone. This is SNJ Pride.